Hello, I'm about to start my fourth attempt at, well, it's not an attempt, my fourth frame for the i1 Extreme, the Logger, RC Logger i1 Extreme quad. And this is my own wood frame that I made. This is my fourth one that I made actually. The other two had broken in crashes, but not a big deal. These frames are pretty easy to make if you have a jigsaw and drill and some sandpaper and a little bottle of spray paint. You're as good as new. I think I spent about $6 or $7 on a 1 meter square plywood, sheet of plywood. So this is a 3-ply, I believe. Obviously you can't see it anymore, but the top two layers are very thin, kind of hardwood. I'm not sure what it is. I believe the center layer, the core, is balsa wood, which makes for a light frame, and it's actually quite stiff. If I were to flex it in my hand, I would say that the rigidity is very similar to that of the Phoenix Flight Gear carbon fiber frame, which didn't last me too long. I just landed on it in the wrong way, and bang, it was gone. If you plan to buy one of these frames, they're great frames. The performance is awesome. Just don't buy the one piece like I did. I think it's a great idea if you buy the version that has a removable, the foldable version, which has removable legs. So if you have a problem like this, all you have to do is replace one leg. But if you buy one piece and you break a leg, you're screwed. So anyways, I had made 2 other frames before this. I mentioned 3 other frames. The other one's downstairs, but these are the 2 that broke. And this one was in a very big crash from high altitude when I lost a signal. And this one was just just a typical crash, a cartwheel crash, and I just broke a leg, which is fine. Probably takes a day to make a frame. My other frame that I made, I didn't actually fly with it because I didn't line up the hole for the battery connector very well. I didn't plan it out as well as I should have on that particular frame. So I had it all together, ready to go. Went to connect the battery and bang, nothing lined up. So I had to throw that into the scrap heap and start over again. And this is this one. Made sure I got my measurements right. I actually have I have the 2 holes here, 3 holes on the 2 on the outside, and the top one are actually made so the LEDs can come through the frame from the fight board. You could mount this using standoffs. You could mount the flight board using standoffs, but I decided to not do that because when I'm using standoffs, I have nothing for my canopy to grip onto. So if I want to use a canopy, for example, it's just loose and you need some Velcro to tie it on, and I just wanted everything to be clean. I could use some sort of a cutout design and mount it to the top, but no, I just thought it was easier not to do that. And what I did was take the original i1 Extreme frame and I cut out all the inside. I don't need this strengthening on the inside at all. And basically I just wanted to use this as a mounting platform for the flight board. So that's what I did. I've actually done that with my other 2 frames and it works fine. Works awesome actually. It is very, the weight that you gain by using this is negligible. It really didn't add a whole lot of extra weight for me because this frame is actually quite light anyways. So so I will start on the build. The first stage was putting on the extreme mount. This accessories mount I actually purchased to use with the carbon fiber frame. Carbon fiber frame is not usable, but the extreme mount kit is, and it just provides sort of a more clean place to attach my Mobius camera and the battery as well. And if I want to go with a larger 1300 milliamp battery in the future. This is actually long. I believe that should be no problem to mount on there. We'll soon see, but regardless. Anyways, so I used the standoffs that actually came with this particular accessories mount when I purchased that frame. So I'm just making use of parts that I already have. I'm just going to make it a cleaner design. Again, it's adding a little bit of weight, but I think it's pretty negligible. But we'll soon see during the test flight, of course. I may end up taking it off if I think it's bogged down a little bit and just running everything right off the frame. We'll see. Anyways, we'll start it up like this anyways. So I attached that, got all the screws on. I used some tape to hold the screws in as I slid it through, just so they don't fall out, just a little bit easier. Anyways, got to tighten those down, and we'll start on the next part, which will be attaching the mainframe body part to hold the flight board. Anyways, the mainframe is attached. The accessories mount tray is attached. Everything was pre-drilled, by the way. Not pre-drilled. I pre-drilled everything, measured everything out properly. So now all I have to do is to put on the aluminum mounts. I really recommend going with the aluminum mounts. They're pre-drilled for screws. The last two frames that I actually, not including the carbon fiber one, I actually bought these to use with carbon fiber. Before that I was using the plastic mounts. I drilled a single hole and used zip ties, zap straps, whatever you want to call them, and it worked fine. Nothing wrong with it. I just, since I have the aluminum mounts, I wanted to use them. I try to use everything that I have, and they actually come pre-drilled, so you can attach it to the frame. Like I think when they made these, they had this frame in mind, which come pre-drilled to hold these. So I'm not sure if they were in cahoots or what was going on, but anyways, it works fine. All I had to do was measure everything properly, make sure everything was in symmetrical mounting position, so everything was sort of lined up properly, which is not hard to do if you have any kind of little bit of design skills. Just make sure you're using a ruler. I used a computer program to do that, which made it a little bit easier for me, but you don't have to. You can just do everything on paper, no problem. Anyway, so now I'm going to mount all of these aluminum motor mounts to the frame, and then I'm going to hook up the flight board after that, and we will give it a little test startup to see if everything's going good. Anyways, so we'll get on that. Okay, all the motor mounts are on, tightened up. So the next step would be to actually put in the motors, and I will do that now. And then at the very end, I will put on the flight board, then I will hook them up. So everything's going quite smoothly. As you can see, I have plenty of space here for a battery to fit through, as opposed to last time. Anyways, you can see the holes are lining up with the LED ports as well. So I think I took my time and thought about this build a little bit more. Planned it out from the very beginning a little bit more. So I didn't do that enough in my last one. So I was just too excited and cutting and all that kind of stuff. Didn't really give it much thought. So anyways, yeah, let's get those motors in. Okay, motors are all mounted. The length of the rear arms, it comes out a little bit more. So it's kind of like, I think they're just going to mount, and it's going to be very tight, but that's okay. I won't have to worry about excess wire and how I'm going to fold it under the frame or whatever. Like the front ones, look at the front ones, they come out really far. So actually all the frames that I've made before were kind of like that. I was going to try to mount the main body a little bit back, but I don't know if you can see, but the screws are right here. I could have moved it back just a tad, but when I was measuring it up last night and I drilled the holes, I guess I just didn't put it back as far as I wanted to. Whatever, it works. So yeah, so now we're gonna get the flight board on, and then we can start it up, and I can't wait. You know, maybe I should talk about this a little bit when you're putting the flight board on. There's so many little screws all over the place that it might get confusing. So basically, try to keep track of what screws go where and everything else when you actually take your flight board off your original stock frame. But just in case you didn't and you're like, oh my god, I forget how everything goes, I'm going to tell you right now, because I've done it like many times. So you have two kind of grommets here. These are dampening spacers, I guess another way you could say it. Well, this one's more of a dampening spacer, this one's more of a grommet. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this one actually fits on top of this space right here. So you put that on the top. We can put those all on, all of them. And oh, okay, yeah, they're already all on. And then you put your flight board on. So make sure your flight board is facing the right way with the battery thing at the back. I think you would probably know that you're doing it wrong before you screwed it up. Before you screwed it on tight, screwed it up. Anyways, they're all good. Let's see, it's all lined up now. Next, go your screws with those little rubber spacers. Where's the camera here? And you put those in on top of that. So I'm using the outside holes, which were the main sort of there's 4 screws, so there's actually 2 sets of 4. The inside ones were on the original stock frame, and your battery tray and your if you had like one of those extreme camera mounts and stuff, they actually come through there. They didn't, I guess it did a little bit of extra securing for the flight board, but it's not really necessary. All you need are these 4 outside ones, and you're good. So anyways, I'll put those on, screw those up, and then we can go from there. I'm going to screw them up, and I should mention as well, for all you newbies like me out there, some things that I learned along the way. When you're screwing these screws down, don't screw them down too tight. Basically, once you see that the screw is starting to put pressure on the grommet, on that rubber spacer, and you can see that it's starting just to deform a little bit, that's tight enough. So basically, you don't want to cause any sort of warping or deformity in the board itself. So once you see it's tight, and give it a little quarter turn, and once you see that the screw is starting to go through the rubber thing, that's when you stop, and that's tight enough. So anyways, I'd hate for somebody to screw those down really tight and bust their board. Yeah, so anyways, that's some point I believe I should mention. Okay, all the motors are hooked in. A little word on attaching the wires. The black goes, it's black, red, white. White is at the back. And actually this pattern repeats itself through all the motors. So the outside is black, the middle is always red, and the white is on the inside. Same goes for the front. I think it's a good practice to get into of maybe before you start taking things apart to take some pictures, which is what I did. And like I said, this is like my 4th frame doing this on, so 5th actually, yes, 5th frame doing this on. So I've taken them apart and put them back in so many times, but anyways, that's how I did it at the beginning, was just taking pictures of the close-up pictures of the frame, seeing where things should go. That's probably a good habit to get into. If you find yourself your props are spinning in wrong ways, just change 2 wires to different spots, and problem solved anyways. So anyways, but just so you don't get yourself into that trouble, that's a good way to avoid that. Anyways, she's ready to fire up with a battery. I'm excited. I think I can, this camera might fall down during this stage, but anyways, now's the moment of truth. I have my battery, I'm gonna hook it in here. Everything lines up good this time. It's a little deep, but I took off the little mounting clips for the batteries just because getting through this frame was so hard. I have to push it in there. Well, I got a light, which is good. So let's see if you can see that on the camera. I can't see what the camera is seeing right now. Okay, good. So next is the moment of truth. Oh, I'm pretty happy. Let's see here. Make sure that they're spinning the right direction. Let's see. Okay, I got my eyes on the... Now let's try the other ones. Yeah, everything looks good. This one seems to be kind of weird. It's a little tight in there. I might end up changing that motor out. I got some extra ones, so... Let's bring it through full power, see if it's going good here. I can hardly feel any vibration through the frame at all. I love wood, it's good for that. That's going to be good for the camera too. Anyways, success. So, end of story, I guess. I guess the next action is to, I got some, let's see here. I got some paracord that I can cover the wires with, and I can strap those down, get the landing gear on, just clean everything up, make it look pretty, and it's good to go. So next stage, I guess, maybe I might actually take out this motor and replace it. Maybe, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it on and see what happens. And if it becomes a problem, I can always just switch it out. But it just looked kind of tight when it was starting up. It just seemed to not spin up quite as easily as these ones, and it was the first one to stop as well. But you know, maybe it's not a big deal. Anyways, next stage is to clean everything up, and I can do a little flight test inside the room and everything like that. So yeah. Okay. This is the indoor flight test for my new frame. Yeah, so here we go. I don't have any more black props. I'm all out, so all I have is red. I got some on order, but they haven't come in yet, so I'm not going to be flying outside until I get new props, but I wanted to give it a little test flight. Works fine. Thank you.